Kaufman is alive. I look at comic books new and old. Today I'm looking at some old comic books and I'm going to be looking at the new Batman #1 blind bag special. I actually did a review. I did about over 10 minutes reviewing this Batman #1 blind bag, and I realized my microphone wasn't on. So I'm going to try to do this a different way today. Obviously, I usually do top-down videos, but I thought I'd try something different today and kind of just make a whole show out of it. Like I said, I picked up some back issues as well, so I'll kind of flip through those and just talk about them. And we'll get into the Batman blind bag as well here. I already did a video where I opened the blind bag to see what I got, so it's no surprise there. I'll get right into that. I picked up the David Aja 1 out of 50 variant cover. They were all foils, but this was 1 out of 50. It was the only blind bag that I picked up, so I was pretty happy to pick this one up. Here's the back cover as well. The artist's name on it there. And yeah, this was a great issue. I'll give you my thoughts on it here. Coming up, there's some great artwork in here by Jorge Jimenez. So, and go check out my other video where I did the opening of that, because I talked more about the comic there as well. First back issue I picked up was X-Men #5. This was a continuation of the Age of Apocalypse. This spun right out of Age of Apocalypse. It was the only X title that continued its numbering out of that crossover event. So we got issues 1 through 4 of X-Men were in the Age of Apocalypse. In issue 5, he actually, as it says, he falls to Earth in that great computer font there. And he joins the actual Marvel 616. And we got Steve Skroce doing the artwork. And he's a really awesome artist here. And I've done reviews of issues 1 through 2 already of X-Men, so go check that out. I'm about halfway through my review the Age of Apocalypse series on my channel as I go through every single issue leading into X-Men Omega. And this would be one of the issues I would review to follow up the Age of Apocalypse, because like I said, this is like the very next month. So, and the fans definitely demanded this title. I was a big fan of this at the time. So some great artwork in here and a pretty cool character as well. If you weren't aware, Steve Skroce actually helped design Neo in the Matrix, and you can definitely see some similarities between X-Man, which actually came before Neo, and Neo. So yeah, X-Men. And then I picked up Civil War Volume 2, Number 2. I actually thought this was this second issue of Civil War from the original volume, but this is actually from Volume 2, which I did not realize at first. We got Charles Soule doing the writing here, with Lineal Francis Yu doing all the artwork, which is really why I picked this up. This was in the dollar bin, which I was kind of surprised to see, but then I realized later that this is from the second volume of Civil War. So this came out during the Secret Wars. As you can see on the cover there, there's a Secret Wars tie-in to this. So, but I love Lineal Francis Yu's work. He doesn't do interiors hardly ever anymore. He just seems to be on covers. So I'll definitely take what I can get as far as finding any of his interior pages. Especially finding something like this in the dollar bin is pretty cool. So, and I got Rob Liefeld's Prophet #4. Got Dan Panosian doing the artwork here. and Liefeld does the writing. I've got a whole bunch of early issues of Prophet, like 1 through 6, but I'm missing a couple. I couldn't remember if I was missing this one or not. I might already have this one, but I wasn't sure. It was only $1. Love that title page with the face. Prophet getting crucified on the first page there. The back cover's just this giant knee with a gun. Obviously, it connects to something else. Might have to check those other early issues of Prophet. Maybe those back covers all connect into some giant poster. Never looked into that. But Image used to always do really cool stuff like that. So here's some of Dan Panossia's artwork here. He's really kind of, aping the styles of the time during this run. But man, he's a really exceptional artist, especially these days. This stuff's really cool, though. I mean, it's certainly kind of dated, but so much fun to look at. Just the giant muscles, the ridiculous characters and poses, and everyone's super buff and fit. Everyone in spandex, giant guns, chains. I mean, what a great era of comic books. Prophet number 4. And then I picked up some more kind of Rob Liefeld adjacent stuff here. I got Youngblood number 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. This was from 2017, I think is what it said. But this is a much later volume of Youngblood here. But actually, Jim Toe is the artist. And he is the current artist on that Spider-Man 94 series with the really hideous looking Peter Parker artwork in there. Some of the other stuff in that book looks pretty good, but if you know what I'm talking about, I did a review. I've already done a few videos on that book, but I mean, Jim Toe, not one of my favorite artists or anything. He's got some cool stuff, though. I really like this cover of President Die Hard here with the tie going with the flag. That's a really cool looking cover. But he does all these issues here. Issues 7 and, issues 8 and 9 that I picked up actually connect, which I never even realized until I got home and started looking at these. So that's awesome. Love connecting covers like this. And Chad Bowers is the writer on all these books. And he does a lot of the writing for Rob Liefeld these days, a lot of the scripting, as Liefeld calls it. But like I said, this is a much later version of Youngblood. It's quite a different team than the original. It's still in the continuity of those original Youngblood comics, though. And it is printed by Image as well. I kind of imagine that these have a low print run because I never see these anywhere. I was surprised to find these all today. And since it was this kind of short little run here, I just picked them all up because, like I said, I never have really seen them around before. I do have issues I think I got issues 1 through 5, or maybe issues 1, 2, 3, and 5, something like that. But I do like Youngblood, and like I said, this is a totally different looking Youngblood team, as you can see, than the kind of original team that most people are used to. I got the Rob Liefeld cover here for this issue. You can tell that's Liefeld. Pretty simple drawing. No effort on the gun there. But for some reason, I like it. I don't know what it is about Liefeld. Obviously, whatever character this is looks kind of similar to Domino. He's always got characters with like face paint or face masks or something going on here. Kind of a trademark of his. But again, this is Jim Toe's artwork on the interiors. And if you want to see any of his recent stuff, go check out the Spider-Man 94 #1 that just came out, or go watch my video that I just posted yesterday where I review that issue, and you can see some of that artwork for yourself. There's President Diehard there. I've got to imagine there's some sort of social commentary going on here about like Obama or something, with President Diehard as like his stand-in or something like that. There's the final page of issue number 11. So let's look at Batman #1 here. Give you my thoughts on this. I think I still might post that video that I did earlier where I didn't have the mic on. I might just post both of these. So here's the David Aja cover. Here's the Jorge Jimenez, the A cover here. There's this weird like ink spot on the moon there. It's on every copy, so it obviously wasn't a mistake, but I like it because I think it kind of shows that this was all actually inked. There's a couple little ink spots there. Just makes it feel more like a comic book. You know this, I mean, when you look at these pencils and inks here, you know that this is not computer generated or anything like that. So we meet not Commissioner Gordon anymore. He's Officer Gordon here, and we see Killer Croc. We don't know that's Killer Croc until a few pages later, but he jumps down onto this truck. They're going to call for backup, but Officer Gordon says, no, let's not call in any more police. Let's call in backup with Batman. So I really like that. He says, work as a cop in this town long enough and you'll learn, always call for backup. And then we see Batman. And Batman's saying, getting pretty tired of this. I love the perspective on this drawing. This is just an awesome splash page. And you can see down here, he's like in this tower and you can see the street below. Looks awesome. I love this costume, the blue, the bright blue in Batman. It's kind of a throwback to like the original Adam West Batman look. So he's investigating Killer Croc, who's busted out of this treatment facility he's in, and this Dr. Zeller is trying to treat him. Elaine Bennis here. And she believes that he's changed, even though he's mutating even further into a giant crocodile man. Kind of interesting that they are doing this Killer Croc storyline here in this Batman #1 at the same time they're doing it in Absolute Batman. But there's also a DC KO #1 preview at the end of this book, so maybe they are kind of doing that on purpose, since in DC KO #1 we're going to see a big crossover between the Absolute universe and the main DC universe. But I love the colors here. This is Gotham City. It looks more like Tokyo, but I guess it's kind of a modern looking Gotham. Doesn't have that gothic look to it so much anymore. There's a few kind of gargoyles there in the old style, but I like the colors a lot in this book. We've got Tomio Mori doing the colors. Clayton Cowles is doing the letters here. This issue is called, what's it called here? It says Vast Colors in the Dark. So we've got the new commissioner here. His name is Vandal Savage. Great name. You know he's up to no good. He's creating this zero tolerance elite police force here. We've got the Batmobile. All throughout here, we're being introduced one by one to all of Batman's gadgets, all of his vehicles. He's got Alfred here, who's actually like this AI hologram construct. And I know a lot of Batman fans don't like that they killed off Alfred. And I will say that I do like what they've done here with Alfred being kind of the person Batman can play off of while he's doing his detective work. They have a lot of good chemistry together. Alfred's always cracking jokes at Batman's expense. And it reminds me of the original Batman creators talking about that they created Robin so that Batman would have someone to talk to when he's doing his detective work, because some of those first issues were awkward with Batman having no one to talk to and trying to create dialogue when he's just doing detective work, you know, by himself. So I like that they got Alfred here for Batman to play off of, and since he's just this hologram, you know, he's not in any danger. And anyway, I just like the dynamic that Batman and Alfred have in this book. So Batman's able to track down the Killer Croc to the zoo, where he just sees Killer Croc sitting there, and he's reminded by the doctor that the Killer Croc's just reverted to this childlike state. So instead of fighting, which Bruce was prepared to do, he takes his mask off. And I like this part where Killer Croc is saying, like, your face changed. He says, your head new now. That's what he says. And Bruce is just explaining that he empathizes basically with the Killer Croc, and he convinces Killer Croc to go back with the doctor here. And I heard some interviews with, or I read some interviews, I should say, with Matt Fraction, the writer here, talking about how he wanted to do some stories with Batman that he didn't get to do in his Hawkeye series. And also how each issue is going to be self-contained stories. And I really like that. There's not going to be, you know, a 5-part, you know, to be continued event in every single issue, which it seems like we get in every single Marvel and DC comic book. So we finally get Robin on the last page, which I was wondering while reading this when he was going to show up, and he finally makes a phone call to Bruce right at the end saying, don't we have anybody on the police force who's friendly with us anymore? And Batman's just like, I don't like the sound of that. And we see Robin with his hands up, presumably trying to nab a criminal there. Another great drawing of Batman. I love the preview pages at the end of the DC books here. It's really kind of unique and an original thing that they've been doing the past few years. But a great drawing of Batman there. Love the color on his costume. I really like the blue. And the yellow belt too. So here's all of the variant covers to this issue. I got the David Aja 1 out of 50 variant. I was so lucky to get that. I was really happy. We're obviously going to see a lot more blind bag specials from Marvel and DC and Image. Battle Beast was the first series I remember seeing that on. And I got a pretty cool one out of that. And again, I got a really great cover out of this. And so they got my money, and I'm not complaining about it. If we start seeing it over and over and over again, though, maybe you'll see a video from me complaining. But anyway, thanks again for watching. That's all I got today. Please subscribe if you've made it this far, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Go read comics.